It has been a year of upheaval and change in the world. We still face a global pandemic and the stark fact that we cannot yet safely be all together with each other in person quite yet. But as things change and seemingly shift beneath our feet, God remains our constant, and our communities remain strong and steadfast and together. As we look forward to the days when we can all gather together in person in fellowship and communion, let us look back to the year that has passed and celebrate all that we have done together as the Episcopal Diocese of Maine. We found different ways to worship God together. We moved our worship services online, or a hybrid mix of online and in person. We moved outdoors to pray, worship, and celebrate. We got creative with how to gather together safely for worship. We leaned heavily on technology. We shared daily prayer online during the week. As more and more of our church communities became vaccinated, we started to meet together in person. We celebrated holidays.
Advent is a time for us to focus on both of these places, the wilderness that is inside, the wilderness that is outside of us.
But what about some of the everyday things, the little tiny things that you're thankful for, things that make you just say, "Oh God, that was lovely. Thank you."
In Advent, we're all of us back to waiting, but waiting with hope. We wait for the pandemic to end, and it will, even if it rages now.
As many of us had to temporarily halt in-person services, fellowship, and outreach, our digital front doors, our websites, became even more important. For some of us, this became an opportunity to update our websites or even create an online presence for the first time. The important work of outreach in our communities did not stop, but rather pressed forward, as for many there were increased needs during these pandemic times.
I'm Laura White. I'm the rector here at St. Martin's Episcopal Church in Palmyra, Maine. We have 6 raised garden beds that a local Eagle Scout made for us this weekend. They're up for grabs for the community. The youth of our diocese gathered together virtually and then in person when it became safe to do so, to be in community with each other at youth events and at Camp Bishop's Wood. We advocated for change, made hard decisions, and shared our faith with those beyond our church communities. We thank members of our clergy who retired or answered a new call this year. And we say farewell to the Episcopal Church of Saints Matthew and Barnabas in Hollowell. And finally, we celebrated.
We celebrated baptisms, confirmations, ordinations. We renewed our vows, and we welcomed many new clergy to new ministries. This year brought us closer together, even when we couldn't always be physically together in person. Let us go forth with hope and grace into the next year.